What's up, everyone? My name is Liam, and welcome to the Full Circle podcast. Today, we are joined by Angie of the Dutch Knuckleheads, and it's an honor to have you. Welcome to the show, Angie.
Yeah, thanks. I'm honored to be here. I've been following you since you started out. Seeing your podcasts, also the ones with Helga and Joker, and I'm really glad to be here. So thank you for having me.
No problem. It makes me smile when I hear that people watch my podcast now. It's a new thing for me that people are messaging me all the time, just like, I love your stuff, man. But anyway, to get this show on the road, tell me about yourself. Where are you from, and what's your story?
Okay, so I'm from the Netherlands, Europe. Um, Small country, a lot of people, a lot of music lovers. I live together with my husband Michael, and with him we founded the Dutch Knuckleheads, Five Finger Death Punch channel, as a kind of tribute and fan account to Five Finger Death Punch. And especially for the last couple of years, for the ones who are now joining us, if you haven't, go check out the earlier ones with Joker and Helga. We're becoming quite the community, just not the European, also, the Australian, the American, the Canadians. There are so many fan accounts all over the world. And we're really connecting as a family because of this music, because of this band. So much love for Five Finger Death Punch.
Same here. I've loved them since I was in seventh grade, so that was about 5, 6 years ago. I've loved them, so I love Death Punch so much. Um, I mean, not to say anything, but Helga might kill me for saying this, but me and Joker, obviously both believe that he is the Godfather, the one that created the idea of fan pages to be like this in the community. He's gonna kill me after probably at the end of the week when I release this. He's probably gonna kill me and say I don't like being
Fine.
called the Godfather. He doesn't like it. But yeah,
I did it myself yesterday, so
I
it's
think I
gonna
think
be
he just
fine.
took it. I think he just took the beating of being called Godfather on his birthday. It was fine. It was
I
great.
think he knows it comes from a good place.
Yeah, I think yeah, because remember, if you remember on my Joker podcast, I made the joke that he's gonna get his Thor hammer out and start hitting us on the head if we keep calling him Godfather. Uh, sorry, I'm funny. But yeah, how did you discover Five Finger Death Punch? What where how did you discover them?
Well, I think actually, kind of low key, we have been listening to them for a while, but not just, really actively. And it wasn't until I think 2015. My husband came home one day, Michael, and he was like, I was in the gym and I had this entire playlist on, and there was one song, and I think you know it too, and it really hit me. And that was Jekyll and Hyde. So then we started
Yes.
listening to, and we're like, damn, okay, this just it went straight to my soul. And of course, we kind of hopped on the bandwagon a little late because they've been going at it for quite a while, and it's just we've been into them, and we've been looking stuff up and listening to the earlier albums, and we've been following them ever since. And it's been such an amazing journey. Not just being able to listen to their music, but we've also been able to see them live a couple of times. We actually even got on stage at one show. We got to meet some of the guys. It's the thing that everyone wants to know. When you're into an artist or a band or whatever, you're looking for some kind of connection. That's what the music does, but you also want to have that personal connection, with the members of the band or with that specific artist. And for Death Punch, one of the things that makes them so great is they stay true to themselves, and they connect with us, not as fans, but as family, as Ivan put it himself. So
Yeah.
that gives it an extra dimension.
It gives it a special aspect where it's like you don't think of them as like they don't think of us as fans. Obviously, that's by standards, that's what we are as fans. But I feel like Death Punch really promotes the concept of that fans aren't fans, but they're family. They're
Yeah,
equals to us. They're no better than us. They're no lower than us. And I really like that they promote that message because it makes me feel more welcome in the community. It makes me feel like I have a place that's
it's
equally
very
as important as
accepting. Yeah.
everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've never seen any other fan base that's ever been so accepting. It's beautiful.
I haven't either. It's I mean, especially now that all of the fans are connecting with each other through all of the social media channels, through the Legions app that they now have for themselves. And it's really, I mean, it's not just a song lift me up. We are lifting each other up. I mean, you get online and you connect with people that normally you wouldn't meet. I mean, of course, for us as Dutch Knuckleheads, we're going to meet Dutch Knuckleheads when we go to the shows. But
Right.
meeting the people from Norway, Germany, the UK, America, Canada, Israel, Iran, Russia, Slovakia, I mean, there are so many. Normally, you wouldn't even know that these people exist. But because of this music and because of this band, we find each other. And I can honestly say, purely for myself, I mean, I've really made friends that will probably last me a lifetime.
To be honest, I can agree with that. I mean, honestly, like I've made friends through the band that honestly to this day, I mean, are people I connect with the most and I talk to the most. I think I relate more to the people I've met through the platform of social media and just also like the Legions app. Like I've met people overall and connected and just, related with people in a sense that I've never felt before. And and I mean, I relate to them way more than anyone else I know in my personal life, where I hope that one day, that connection I've made with people can be a real connection one day. Because I mean, like, obviously, I was talking to you earlier. Like, I had mentioned, like, I want to go to Norway for Tons of Rock next year. Hopefully, just to like put myself out there in a more realistic, face to
Hmm.
face standard, per se. Just like, I don't know, just meet some of the people that have been complimenting my work for the month or so that I've been doing it.
Hmm.
I really think that I really would like to meet Helga and Joker and you. All you
Same
guys. You
here.
all seem like very sincere people, very accepting and loving. And I mean, I would love to
We're
meet
just
people
normal
like that.
people. We're just
Right,
normal people, but we have one thing in common, and that's our love for Five Finger Death Punch. And I think it really goes to show how deep the music and the lyrics can connect to a person.
right.
You can take any song from the band and people will be like, oh my god, that could have been written by me. Sorry, Ivan. But more in the sense of people are really connecting to the lyrics. When you listen to a song and you go like, oh my god, that happened to me, or I've been feeling like that, or it just really it goes it hits you on a level when you meet people. I mean, normally you go to school, you make friends there. Why? Because you go to the same school, because you're practically the same age, stuff like that. People that you talk to because they like this band and because they love this music, it it feels like it immediately goes so much deeper because that's where the music hits you. That's where the music
Right.
connects with you.
It's beautiful, to be honest. I mean, like when times like these came out, I mean, I saw your little parody of it on Instagram. I liked it.
Oh
It was
God.
very nice. It was very nice.
And to think that I did that in like I think I took like 5 to 10 minutes to make something of the lyrics and just record it. And I was like, oh my God, if Ivan is going to see that,
it's,
I hope he won't think I raped his lyrics. But that's, I love how people get creative with what the band puts out. I mean, people
right.
who are editing pictures and making all sorts of edits, people who are singing and playing music, playing guitar, all
Right.
inspired by the band.
I mean, like I know Ivan and a bunch of them. Like I know Ivan like I know he does love those photo edits. I mean, I think I've heard him say like he just loves it. He loves how people just like
Yeah.
make these cool like little projects of him. I mean, I've known a few people that literally have drawn him with a pencil. I mean, it's interesting like how like it looks, and it's really fucking cool. And I mean, I don't know, just like the whole subject of like how people how like I don't know. I feel like they're really accepting of the idea of what people can create out of what they put out there. Like with
Hmm.
you and the little parody of times like these. That was a really interesting way to actually perceive it because I wouldn't say that you're raping the lyrics or just like butchering them in any way, but I would say that you're putting out your perception, your connection
Yeah.
to how you feel about it. And I feel like I don't think you should be like nervous about how Ivan or them will feel when or if they see it. But I feel like they would appreciate to see that because they're like, okay, we're seeing how you're perceiving it, and that's really fucking cool. I mean,
Yeah, of
I
course.
thought
But
the
I mean,
perception was
if
nice.
your idol sees that and listens to that, I mean, for me personally, I just turned into this little insecure girl, and I think I can sing, but I mean, what is the person going to say whose voice I listen to on a daily basis and who literally has been a lifesaver with his voice and his words? And now I'm doing this with his music. And I mean, the beauty of it, I think, is that it's like the circle. Like on one of their albums, they have like the infinity sign, and I think it's kind of like this, but they put something into motion and it keeps working
Right.
because what they put out with their own creativity, it touches other people and they respond to that with their own creativity, and it keeps going on and on.
I mean, honestly, Death Punch has inspired me to do a lot of things with like their lyrics, to be honest. Like, I think it's made me feel like I can accept the bad things that are going on around me. Obviously, like, don't let it consume you, but like, I feel like I've accepted the fact that, it's normal to not be normal. And it's like,
What's
chill.
normal? Normal is just an average. I mean, there is
Yeah.
no normal. It's just,
Right.
they put everything on a big heap and they go like, okay, we have um like when you get the numbers, you go from 0 to 10. We'll get somewhere in the middle, say 5. There's only one 5. The rest of them are
Right.
not 5. So I mean, it's
They're a
just a matter of
different aspect of
perspective.
something.
Yeah.
But I mean, feel like I'm trying to think. What would your definition of normal be, though? I mean, I understand that like there's no such thing as quote unquote normal, but what would you like define normal as?
I'm not sure if I can really define it. The first thing that comes to mind for me when I hear normal is boring. Um, yeah, no, I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
mean,
not
I
someone
relate to
who
that. I can see it.
I'm not
I
normal.
mean,
Never have
I'm
been, never
not
will
either.
be. Tried it. Worst 5 seconds of my life. No. Um, I think normal, I think a part of human psychology is that we tend to want to make things safe by making
Yeah.
them predictable and putting boxes around everything so that if you fit in a box, they think they know what you're made of and what you're going to do. So it's kind of safe because they can kind of, think ahead of what's going to happen. it's
Right.
it's an illusion. It's a fake safety. And I think, to be honest, I mean, I've been struggling with my mental health for the most part of my life. And we always have a saying at home, like, I can't think of a real literal translation right now. If there are any Dutchies watching this, prettig gestoord. It's kind of crazy, but in a good way. um I love people who have that. The most people that are normal, I think, are just I mean, don't get me wrong, there are going to be a lot of people who think, I'm normal and I'm fine with that, and that's fine for that kind of person. For me,
Right.
I like people who can think outside of the box, who can be creative, and who can just, color outside of the lines, and still be in touch with their inner child. And if I go outside and it's raining and I want to dance in the rain and stamp in the puddles, I'll do that.
Right.
Normal would be saying, Angie, you're 40 years old, you're a mother, for God's sake, act normal. That's not me.
I feel like I don't know. It's really hard. I agree with you when I say like you can't really define normal. It's hard to, but I would say normal. I would say if I were to say something's normal, I wouldn't say it's society's this like perception of normal. I would say
Hmm.
my definition of normal is just being yourself. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good one.
as you said, like dancing in the rain, splashing in the puddles, that's normal. You're just being yourself. I think that's normal.
Exactly
But
that. Don't be too upset with what people expect and what people want from you, but just be true to yourself. If you're true to yourself, you're normal. for as normal as you can be.
I mean, like another thing. I mean, you could say like you could mosh to metal in your bedroom or some shit. I don't know. Dance around. I don't know. Be a little crazy. Go to a concert. Go to
Have
like
fun.
hang out with your friends, or just enjoy yourself. Be yourself. And I think that's my definition of normal. Definitely, would just be yourself.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know. That's
definitely a good
just
one.
I don't know. I would just say that I would believe like yeah, being normal is just be yourself. Stay true to yourself, and just a lot of just like just be you. That's kind of my.
Yeah,
I don't know any way other way to say it without saying
yeah,
a
true to
million different
yourself.
words that mean the same thing.
Listen to your heart, and don't do things you don't want to do because people expect them, or
Mhm.
because it's tradition, or because it's how it's always been done. I mean, I think if all people would act like that, I think a lot of people would die, seriously, because I think that really kills a human soul, to
Yeah,
have to fit in this box and not be able to have any fun, because here we have a saying like, I have to think about the translation, but just act normal. That's crazy enough.
yeah,
And I'm like, I want to live my life. And I mean, I've heard you talking about you've had some struggles yourself. I mean, for me, and I'm really open about it, I've been diagnosed, among other things, with bipolar disorder. So I know the extremes. I know the pink clouds, being happy, kind of like the ADHD, like I can take on the entire world, and I'm just full of energy, like I've been drinking Monster all day, and on the other hand, there's this black cloud of depression. Yeah, I'm staying in I'm staying in style
staying
right
in
here.
the zone. You gotta stay in the zone with the monster. You know.
But no, I mean, it's you have both sides, and you need both sides. I mean, it's like the yin and yang. And I've talked about this with a lot of people. I think a lot of the bigger artists, and I don't mean specifically bigger in that they're more known, but the people who really connect with fans and other people,
Yeah.
be it in music or be it in acting or stuff like that, are the people who have been haunted and who have been struggling. I mean, if
Right.
you don't know what the dark is like, you're not going to appreciate the light.
I mean, like, I'm gonna like. I mean, like, I'm not gonna like. I'm gonna like just say like people that are good examples about that. Like, I've talked about Ivan, like, and like Death Punch specifically have their struggles. You know, for the sake of this little conversation, I'm actually gonna steer it off of that and kind of like look at other people because I've already talked about Death Punch multiple times. I'm not saying I won't. I don't want to talk about them, but I would say like another major comparable is Slipknot. Slipknot's another major comparable with like addiction struggles because I think like I think like they didn't really get heavily into like sobriety stuff. I think until Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, or even like the Gray Chapter. I think it's like around that period of time. I think is where they started striving for sobriety because they were just like doing drugs and drowning themselves with alcohol and stuff like that, and it was just killing their vibe. I mean, I watched a whole like interview with Corey Taylor on that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I view like Corey Taylor and Ivan Moody. I feel like those are my two biggest inspirations out of any other artists because Corey has expressed like his struggles with like teen addiction, I guess you could say, with like drugs and stuff of that nature. And I find that very relatable to me because that was me probably last 2 or 3 years. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this last year I've been doing better, but I haven't. I would never say that my demons have not left. And I think when I like see something like Corey Taylor, I mean, I think I more relate to him than Ivan, to be honest. In my striving
Mm-hmm.
for sobriety, I more relate with Ivan, but situation wise, I relate more to Corey. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to like say I don't. I'm trying to think how to word this. I'm not trying to say I like don't think like other people's issues weren't as bad, but I mean like I don't know. I find both of them even equally inspiring and motivating, but So, I mean, Corey
Some
Taylor like
people just,
OD'd twice. I think
oh
he
man.
OD'd twice before he was 17. I think he was like 17. He OD'd twice, and it's really sad to see.
Hmm.
Sorry, my chair's being annoying. But yeah, continue. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I cut you off a little bit.
No, 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 no problem. No, just go ahead. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'm a Dutchie. I was at the famous Tilburg show with Ivan, and that was
Wow.
actually the first show that we saw from Death Punch live. And the difficult thing is, and I really don't want to talk about that show too much because the media blew it up. And I mean, I was there. I won't say I know everything about what happened, but I do know that a lot of stuff that came out through the media in the following days, it was incorrect. They were just blowing shit up, and I think it's a real shame that we have this society, especially when it comes to our artists. Everything gets blown up, especially when things get bad. Um, but like, we're all people. We all have our ups and downs, and I mean, especially if you've been in the limelight and people are just getting on your everything you do and judging everything. I mean, personally, I don't have that experience, but I can really imagine that you get susceptible for numbing that pain with whatever you can get at the moment. I mean, to be honest, I'm 40 years old. I've never been drunk in my life. It just hasn't had that pull for me that it does to some people. Um,
Right.
but I can really understand, and I can also understand like there's this stigma about addiction, about mental health problems. Often or not, they go hand in hand, and
Right.
um, it's good to see that people are becoming more conscious about it, especially people in those kind of places when you're the front man, the singer of a famous band, and you have that platform and you can speak out about that. Because how important is it for us as normal people? I'm just going to do this for the normal, but um, to have people that we can look up to who can honestly show that they themselves are struggling too. There's nothing more human than that, but especially the part where they're not only being that vulnerable and showing that to us and opening up about what's been happening and what does or does not work for them. It connects to so many people and it inspires so many people. I mean, I know for sure, not only from personal experience, but not only for Five Finger Death Punch, but it'll be that way for a lot of artists and bands. They literally save lives with what they do.
Right. I mean, like, I don't know. I find it really sad to actually hear about their stories, but I feel like it helps people when they see that, like, their idols in music and stuff, and people that listen to them, they're like, they see that these people they're looking up to have had their problems, and they're trying to fix it. They're trying to
Yeah.
be better for themselves and their audience. And I feel like I'm not trying to say that we need to have that kind of issue because honestly, no one should have to like suffer the way that
Hmm.
they would. No one deserves to have to experience that. But in a sense, I believe that that kind of thing needs to happen in a sense so that people get the confidence, I guess, to speak up about their problems. Because if they see that someone that they're idolizing goes through this, makes it to the other side, and says, "Hey, man, I'm okay. I made it through. I think you can too." And it's really like I feel like we need people like that, and I feel like Ivan and, as I said, Corey Taylor and a bunch of other like popular people in the music industry. I feel like those guys are pure examples that you can go through bullshit and just you face so much shit that
Hmm.
you make it on the other side and say, "Hey, I think all of you that you're struggling, I struggled too, and I want to help you. I want my music to help you, and it makes me so happy that it helped you." And I really find a lot of it like beyond my experiences and my problems. I just find them inspiring people. I find a lot of Death Punch and just any of those guys. I find a lot of them just inspiring, just for how they treat people. Like not like it's like just besides the sobriety topic and stuff like that. Like I find them very inspiring and just outside of music preferences, I guess you could say.
just as people, as human beings. I mean, and I think that we should normalize being able to show that other side, because I think, especially with social media nowadays, we're all just used to seeing the good times and seeing the happy times and the smiles,
Yes.
and there's the other side as well, and people tend to not show that because on one hand we don't want to be seen as weak, because usually we tend to make that difference in our head, you're strong, you're weak. No, but it's how strong are you to be able to show that vulnerability and to show that you're struggling with things that may seem very simple or little to someone else. I mean, I have PTSD as well, and sometimes that stuff hits me so hard over something so small that
Mhm.
people will be like, what the hell is going on? Why are you overreacting? A part of me rationally knows that I'm overreacting, but something happened to me that triggered me and that rewired stuff in my brain and in my entire system that makes me respond so very extreme. And I know that it does, but in the time when it's happening, I can't control it. I can't steer this or that way. I just have to go through it. And I mean, we're so used to putting that away. We can't see the dark, we can't see the shadows. No, that's part of us. Like I said earlier, the
Right.
yin and yang. You can't want to have sunshine all the time and have flowers, because those flowers, they need the shade and they need the rain to grow. They need both. And we as people, I think, and like Jekyll and Hyde, that kind of symbolism, the duality. I really like how they put that into their songs and into their lyrics. It's the most basic thing in life there is. I mean, everything in nature has this flow. If you look at the seasons, we have spring, we have summer, but then we also go through fall, autumn, and winter. It has everything, and it keeps just circling around and going through the motions, and that's how life should be too. We can't just want to be summer. It doesn't work like that. We need all of it. And I think it's very, very inspirational to have people like Ivan, but also the other band members and people, artists in general, showing that they're going through those motions and that they are trying their best to deal not only with their own feelings, but also, the expectations and the judgment from the outside people and the paparazzi and shit like that. And, having to battle yourself, that's the hardest battle there ever will be.
Right.
But still being there and still showing up and saying, okay, this time I fucked up. That's a lesson I'm going to learn. Next time, I'm hopefully going to do better. And that's what these guys are showing us. And that is just, I can't even put into words right now how much that means to me. Because like I said earlier, they are literal lifesavers.
I mean, seriously, and I mean, like, it's just, I don't even know how to put it at this point. It's like, I don't even know how to even describe their support for people and showing that they go through stuff. I mean, I understand, like, yeah, it's like sobriety, but I just sometimes I don't, I feel like it's more than that in a sense, and I just don't know how to put it.
I think it's more like a way of life. That a lot of people, I think for a lot of people, we want to do a lot for our loved ones, but in that
Right.
process we tend to forget ourselves. The first person you should be able to love is yourself. The first person that you need to prioritize is yourself. And whether that means getting sober, whether that means that you have to cut some ties with people who are toxic to you. It can be so many things in so many facets of life, but the first person you have to look out for is yourself. And I think
Uh,
that if you look at what the guys are doing, and I mean, Chris Cale, for example, too. I mean, on one hand, you see this, badass motherfucker. And on the other hand, he's like really zen and really into his spirituality. And I love that, because people tend to think that those are two different things, but they're just two sides of the same coin.
right. I mean, like, going back to like in that subject. I mean, like, I feel like Chris Kale is a pure example of like I'm trying to think how to put it. He's a pure example that people like battle their demons constantly. Because I know like he went sober not too long after Ivan, and he saw like Ivan struggles, and he's like, I'm gonna do that too because I'm struggling too, and he did. And then I think I had read an article somewhere. I think it was like Loudwire or something. Don't mark me on this. I believe he had said that like he had relapsed during COVID. That like he was battling.
Yeah, I think I read the same. It does ring a bell, but
Yeah, I'm not trying to call him out on it. I'm not trying to like anything like that because I know that Helga does try to make the guys watch this, and I'm not trying to like poke anyone right
no, but
now
it's
or like.
reality, and I mean, it
I
speaks
mean,
for him that he is putting that out there because I mean, what the hell kind of 2 years have we been living the last few years with
right,
COVID? And I mean, so many people, I mean, even before, if you were not struggling with a lot of issues, that has happened over the years. I mean, with everything that's been going on and how cut off people were and the fear and everything that came with it. I mean, so many people had so much more struggles being cut off and feeling lonely and not knowing what to do and what to believe. And I mean,
right.
that is so intense. And it I'm not going to say it makes sense. It's not like you're expecting someone to relapse, but I mean, it's logical. And I think it really shows his character in coming forward with that and talking about that because, it's
Right.
just normal. Here we go again with the normal. That's our theme for
The normal
for this
topic.
kind of thing. But, I think we should really normalize talking about that kind of things, especially as men. By the way, I mean I'm here as a female knucklehead, and we're supposed to be more open about our emotions, blah blah blah. But I think it takes real strength to be vulnerable and share your emotions, especially when you're a guy, because in most societies it's just been man up, be strong, don't show anything.
Right.
And I can only imagine. I mean, if I burst out crying, like, another hysterical female, let her go. If a guy does that, he gets all sort of shit. You're a guy and
Seriously,
you
I
can't
mean,
show your emotions, but you have them. You have to show them and you have to feel those emotions. You can't just put them away because it'll come back to hunt you. Definitely.
right. I mean, I've been a first-hand experience of that because I mean, I'm young. I've had limited experiences, but honestly, when I do think about it, I think that is one of the many things that led to me having the problems of like trying to do drugs and drinking and stuff. And I think that's what kind of led me to that point because it started getting like everything just bottled up so much to a point where I just couldn't shove my emotions down anymore. And that's what I'm starting to get into now is that, I want to hide the fact I have those problems at the same time. I want to be open to people and show people like how I feel, my true character. And I mean, like, when I say that, like, you see me, I'm like a very happy person on my podcast. I have a smile on my face. It's like all that full like 10 yards of that. In reality, to be honest, like I want to show people like how I feel, who I am, and just show that like everything's like it's okay that like to show your emotions. And like
Hmm.
I mean I would like love to say that like I'm happy all the time, but I'm really not. And I mean just saying like
Who
it's like
is?
just saying that right now is hard for me because it's like I mean like cuz like I think being at home so much because of COVID and doing online school and just this expect of just like being in front of like for me, I mean, obviously you can relate in different ways, maybe through like working or something like that. But for me, like with education, I liked going in person because I didn't have a parental figure breathing over my shoulder constantly. Where when I was in online school, they practically checked on me every 10, 15 minutes, just like, are you doing your shit? And then it's like it
Mm.
messed with my head because if they ever caught me not, I would be in some real shit. And it was like sucky, but it's like it was a lot of like, oh, just fucking take it, you're a man. And I had been listening to that for so long, and I think that's one of the main reasons that like I think I got into what I did, like a little bit prior, and just going into that COVID period of being at home constantly, I feel like it added on to it, and it made it
Hmm.
very hard for me to stop. And then eventually, I met the right people, and I mean, I met some good friends that convinced me, or in a sense, or just motivated me to stop. And just because I was becoming this really dark, gloomy person. And I mean, I
Hmm.
can't say I'm still not that person sometimes because I am pretty dark and gloomy these days, to be honest. Because you heard me, I was talking with Helga or Joker. I don't remember which one, to be honest. I had said this with, but I had like relapsed like a month ago. Like, as of
Hmm.
today, it's 2 months, and I had like a year and a half under my my arm or whatever, however they say it.
Hmm.
But I had like a year and a half behind me, and then I just something happened between my personal life with like
Hmm.
anywhere from like it was a mix of different things. I'm not like trying to call people out because I know a lot of people in my life watch this, but I think it was anything from like relationships with people to bad people I was hanging out with to family. It was a whole range of stuff that just piled on top of me in the matter of like 2 days that it hit me harder than like a lot of other things. And I think
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I
a
mean.
lot.
And it just drowned me in this pool of depression. And
You just get overwhelmed.
I
Yeah,
just
I get the
and
feeling.
it was and then I decided to go out with some friends that weren't probably the best influences on me. And I mean, I know some of them do watch this. So I'm not trying to offend anybody or call anyone out, but like they weren't really the best influences on me. And I just think I got wasted like every single night for like a week. And it was rough that my mom, because my mom's one of those moms that's like really anxiety when I'm not home. She like knows I'm out, and with these guys, I didn't come home till like 3 in the morning every single night, and I just walk in the house shit faced every single day. And my
Hmm.
mom would like after all of it ended, she would try to talk to me, but I would just be like so out of it, so like hungover, so just dead inside from all of it. And then after that week ended, she had sat me down and was like, "What's going on? Why did you do all that?" And I was just like, "I
Hmm.
don't know. Everything just got too much for me." And I just
Yeah,
lost
just
it.
that, it gets too much and you want to numb the pain and you don't know what the hell you can do. I mean, I've had a relapse too earlier this year. And it's not mostly, I mean, maybe it happens for some people, but mostly in my experience, it's just a lot of things happening on top of each other, just like you were saying. And, we have a special needs family. I'm struggling with my own health, both physical and mental. Stuff is happening, everywhere with COVID and what the hell is going on with wars and political issues. And I mean, there's so much going on. And then, we always say that you have like this bucket and the bucket gets full and it just overflows. And look, for me, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't have the tendency to drink or use drugs or do anything like that. But I can really get the emotion. You want out of there. The only thing is you're in a bad place and you want to get out, but you don't know how.
Right.
And I mean, I think that I know that when it comes to how your brain is working, and you get to a
Mm.
certain level of inactivity and depression, certain areas of the brain tend to kind of shut down. So it's not
Right.
like you can motivate yourself to just, like what people tend to say when you're depressed or anxious. You just got to do happy things and you just got to go take a walk for your mental health and everything will get better when you're thinking positive. And I'm like, what the hell? If I'm really depressed,
I'm just gonna
please
keep
get the
thinking
hell out of my
depressed,
face.
man.
That is not working. But
Right.
as I understand, it really comes to that point where you can't motivate yourself. You really literally need someone else
Mm-hmm.
to come to you and to activate you and to like take you and go on a walk or do something or talk about shit or whatever. And then, you know, if it works, you can just build up from there. Um, but I also think people tend to underestimate, like, once you've had like that low, people think like it's just going to be straight up and you'll get there. No, it's not like that. It's going to be this all the time, in
It's gonna
different
be
ways. And
up,
I
down, up,
think what
side.
matters most, yeah, I mean, for me as well, I mean, I know for a fact I'm very sensitive to seasonal depression. So I know in the summer, physically, I'm doing better. I'm getting a lot of sun. I know that kind of period of that kind of time of the year works better for my mental health. When the darker days are coming, it tends to be, I know I need to be more on the lookout because I tend to be more somber, more depressed, more gloomy, stuff like that.
Right.
Um, and people tend to think like it's just some button you can switch it on and off, and that people think you have full control of it, and that's not it. Especially not when you're in one of those extremes, when you're in that high, like say when you're with the ADHD, or for my part when I'm manic or something like that. You have that really high, the pink cloud, you're like, I can take on the entire world. And on the other
Right.
hand, the extreme part, I've been suicidal myself, trigger warning, but I'm really open about it. And I know a lot of people tend to say like, oh, you're just doing it for attention or stuff like that. Or, I've personally, I've never hurt myself in that sense. But I do know a lot of people think, oh, you want to die. No, I don't want to die. It's not actively, I want to die. I just don't know how to live anymore. I'm at that
Mhm.
point where I'm just tired all the time. I wake up, I'm tired. Everybody hurts. My entire head feels like this dark cloud full of ink, and I nothing makes sense anymore. Nothing is I mean, it's like they're really dimming your light to the point where there's nothing left. And
Right.
you can't always get out of there. So sometimes, yeah, you turn to alcohol or whatever. But it's a good thing that people are talking about it and being open about it. And, for the band members, showing that they're struggling with the same things, and that it's not just, oh, I'll try it once and it'll work perfectly the first try. No, it may take 2 or 3 times, or maybe even more. And maybe you've been sober for 18 years and you still can have a relapse. I mean, but the thing is, you keep going and you keep trying. And especially for Five Finger Death Punch, I think the way that they put it into some of their lyrics, just listening to that music when I'm feeling that low just picks me up immediately, knowing like I'm not alone in this. People have the same struggles.
Honestly, I mean, I really do agree with that. I mean, like, I would definitely say I mean, relating to you, I mean, honestly, the way you were describing how you feel sometimes, I really like, I was able to picture myself as you were talking. I really did. I felt that. I saw myself in that. I mean, I don't like to say it a lot, but I did used to have suicidal feelings, and I'm not gonna say that it went away. I can't say that because honestly, a week or two ago, I was really thinking about it, to be honest. And I'm not trying to like alarm anybody by saying that, but it's like
No, but
I'm
it
just
doesn't
like,
always have to be like actively. I mean, I think for me personally, I don't know if it's the same with you. I can have the thoughts, but know that I'm not going to act on it. And
right,
it still feels, you still feel like shit. You're not going to do anything with it, but you do have this voice inside us. What the hell am I doing this for? I might as well just not do anything anymore. It doesn't mean that you act on it, and it doesn't mean that you're literally at the point of doing something to yourself. But I
exactly.
think it would be great if, through the music and the lyrics talking about things, people who have those kind of platforms talking about this and their personal experience, we can normalize that people do need to talk about these kind of feelings. And not
Right.
because we want attention, and not because we want it to be about us, but because we need to be heard in that sense. And just knowing that there are other people out there who experience the same already helps us.
I completely agree with that. I mean, like, honestly, when I honestly agreed to another that a majority of what you were just saying, I do agree with that as well. I mean, I do understand that feeling, and it's just I just get this really gloomy part of me where it's just like I feel like I don't mean anything, and like that's like one of the reasons I started getting into podcasting because for years everyone's always said you always have a creative voice, you always want to like put yourself out there and talk to people, you like talking to people that are similar to you, and I decided like let's just fucking do it because I was like, you know what, I'm starting to get to a rough part of my life where I want to talk to people, I want to meet people, I want to do something besides the status quo of like a 9 to 5 work schedule, being like just hanging out with friends. I mean, I feel like Helga and Joker don't really know this, but when we started actively talking to me and them in like the last month or two, I mean like they really I guess lifted me up in a sense because ever since I relapsed a couple months ago, I've just had the worst like anxiety. Like I've just been paranoid that everyone's just gonna abandon me and everyone's just gonna give me a fat middle finger to my face. Because so many people have come and gone in the last year or so from me because of my problems and because me seeing myself I'm gonna be going downhill. And it's starting to get to a point now where it's like I'm letting off, I'm happy and I'm all joyful when I do this, but to be honest, like the only reason I'm smiling and I'm so happy when I do this is because it excites me to talk to someone that I can relate to, or at least just someone I can enjoy myself with. And I feel like, in a sense, this has not only helped me help myself start digging myself out of my hole, but to motivate me to be better as a person and show that, like, I'm not the only one struggling. I've had my problems, and it's like I'm trying to work my way out of it still. And I really I just want to put myself out there and see like what happens. And I just want some, I feel like it's a motivator kind of tool for me.
Mhm.
We're just talking openly about some stuff that really helps me get some stuff off my chest, but also just, I want to do it this way, in a way that's just like, I want to show that like, hey, I'm having these struggles too. Honestly, I want to be open about it now. And I want to show people that, I'm just like them. I may not be okay. I mean, like, and as you were saying, like the music really helps. I mean, times like these and
Definitely.
Welcome to the Circus, those two songs
Mhm.
were really good, like songs that came out surrounding that part of what happened. And I really personally connected to both of those songs. Welcome to the Circus is kind of like, shit, like my life's a fucking circus right now, man. It's like fucking everywhere. And I mean, like the lyrics of the song, like, am I the only one that doesn't wear disguise? And I mean, I kind of related to that verse a lot
Mhm.
because I've always felt like I'm just in the last month or two, or just generally in the last like little bit, I've just felt like I've been disguising myself, hiding who I am. It's because I don't want people to like, I'm afraid like I may be too fragile or something to show people who I am and how I'm feeling. And I feel like the music, not only the music, but meeting people, talking to people and helping them, like helping me like view things in a way that's different than um how I'm currently viewing it, and helps me like see perspectives and help me like
Mhm.
see the happiness in the way I can just find a way to like make myself happy in the moment, and maybe that happiness will
Mhm.
help guide me out of the hole. You know what I mean?
But on one hand, living in the moment, that's what matters. I mean, there is no guarantee there's going to be a tomorrow. I don't want to be very depressing right now, but I mean, that's just the way it is. And everything that has happened in the past, you're not going to change it. So live in the
Right,
moment. And I think on the one hand, you should really just follow your heart and do whatever makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting people or doing crazy illegal stuff, or, you know, do what makes you happy, because if that is what keeps you going, do that. And I think what I love to see, and I see it with you, I see it with so many people, whether they're famous or not, if you do the things that you believe in, if you do what really, lights that fire in your soul, you're going to get other people on board as well.
right,
And it's just going to spread like a wildfire. I mean, if you're growing up as a kid, there's so much stuff going on that changes you in say the first 10, 20 years of your life. You've got parents telling you what's good and what's not good. You got people in your surroundings. You got school. You got so many different influences, and all of these people are telling you who you got to be, what you got to feel, how you got to act, stuff like that. And I think
right,
what a lot of people are struggling with is, how do I translate that? How do I peel off all of those layers of what I've been doing to cope, and what I've been doing to protect myself from this mean big world that it can be sometimes. How do I get back to myself, but stand, in that strength, because that vulnerability, that can be a strength. But it's scary. People are gonna have to say something about it. People are gonna judge you. People are gonna call you out on stuff. Um, and I've learned along the way, and I'm not going to say that I control it and I do it all the time, but one thing I've learned is, and if you're religious, your opinion might be a little different about that, but I see it this way. At the end of the line, when I'm dead, there's only one person that I have to look in the eye and say, like, have I been happy with my life? Yes or no? That's me. And I mean, of course, if you believe in God and that you're going to go somewhere, and you know um, that's your thing, I haven't,
Right.
I'm not religious in any way. I mean, if there's anything, I might be more spiritual, more in the pagan ways, but I mean, whatever your belief is, what happens after life, I think it's more important, you know, you're living your life. There's only one constant in your life, and that's you.
Right.
And just peel off those layers. And I know it can be very difficult and very scary because, of course, you care what other people think of you. And of course, I mean, people, humans, we're group animals. We're wired like that. I was bullied in school, and somewhere along the line, I tried to like think it around and say like, you know, fine, I don't want to be in the popular group. I'll just do my own thing, and I'll be glad with that. You know, I'll be happy my way. Um, Part of me still wants to be accepted by each and every person I meet, preferably. I
Right.
mean, I know that it's not realistic, but a part of you will always want that. I think that's just the way we are as human beings. But on the other hand, you know, I'm trying to tell myself, and I know that there's a lot you can do on influencing your own thoughts and changing the patterns that you have and the way you think about things and your coping mechanisms and all that kind of stuff. You know, we can do so much more than we think, but we tend to keep ourselves really small because, oh my god, what will other people think or say about it? And I
Right.
mean, if I'm hearing you speak, you're at that point where you're realizing it, and you're going like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. And if I want to show that part of me, I'm going to show that part of me, and people are probably going to say something about it. Well, so be it. And I think that's a very inspirational way of stepping into your life, you know, and going about your days. So
Right. I
respect.
mean, honestly, I mean, I don't know, just like I feel like it's respectful for people that want to like take that step to be better and show that to people. I mean, I don't really know how to put it, to be honest. I mean, it's a touchy subject for me sometimes, talking about like emotions and wanting to be accepted by everybody and all that kind of subject, like you were talking about. I
Hmm.
mean, and that's when I think we need to find like healthy ways to cope with like the issues we may have. I feel like
Yeah,
music's a very healthy way to look at it, but also
absolutely.
like,
It is therapy.
and I don't know, because like that's like one of the many things. Like I've been like, as I said, like I've been going through a lot, and I mean, like it's starting to get to a point where like I don't know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow that could impact, how I feel right now. I feel great right now. I feel very happy
Hmm.
and I feel very delighted, I guess you could say, and just I feel joyful that I'm here. I'm doing this. I'm
Hmm.
talking to you. I feel very, I guess, lifted up per se. But I'm like, but also maybe this feeling only lasts for a day, and then tomorrow someone just like punches me down. Then I'm just like, shit, man. Like, and then I start doubting myself, and then obviously the whole 10 yards are just like, what the fuck am I doing? But I mean, not to
Don't
make
doubt
it
yourself.
depressing, but it's
Don't
like,
don't ever doubt yourself, and don't let other people's judgment be what motivates you and what inspires you and what makes you decide whether or not you're having a good day. If
mm,
someone responds to you in a negative way, that's their part. Maybe they're having a shitty day. Maybe they're dealing with issues and they don't know how to cope and they're projecting it onto you. But that's not your part. So stay true to yourself and know,
right,
you know, what your own energy is and you know, everyone is struggling and a lot of people don't show it. Some people do. Some people show it in very weird ways. Um, just know that everyone is fighting their own demons, and you
yeah,
know it's never a contest, and you don't have to compare. Everyone has their own bit, and I think that we have to respect that in each other, and also remember to stay human in that, and to especially love each other no matter what. I mean, if we're talking about the Knucklehead family, I mean, people are going to say, like, you haven't even met people face to face. How can you say you love them? I can definitely tell you right now, I love each and every one in my Knucklehead family. No matter if we've talked in what way. I mean, yeah, but it's
this
true. I
big
mean,
heart,
yeah. But why not? I mean, why put all the, if I can put energy into hating, I can just spend that same amount of energy on loving and feeling
Right.
so much better instead of just, pulling other people down because I feel shitty. And of course, I can feel shitty. If I have one of those days, I give myself that day or maybe two, and after that, I kick myself in the butt and go, now you got to go and do something,
Right.
and it's all about balancing stuff out and being real, and also knowing, what is mine and what is yours. And the thing is, had you ever been to a Death Punch show before? I thought you had, but
I haven't because
never.
because like in my journey of listening to them and all that fun stuff, it's been a situation of like at first it was like family didn't really approve of it. So they never really let me go. They would never let me go out because they're like, "Oh, you're gonna get kidnapped in a show, or someone's gonna do something really bad to you and hurt you."
Yeah, that
So those,
happens in every show I've been to.
yeah, I mean, no matter how like angelic it could be, like pop singer or anything, someone's gonna get really pumped and hurt someone on accident. Not trying to say that's what happens, but it happens. Shit happens. But um, by the time that I mean, I really was able to step forward myself and be like, "Hey, I want to do this. I know you
Hmm.
really don't approve of it, but I would love to go. It would mean the world to me." And I think by the time it had gotten to that, I was able to do that. My mom and dad were just like, you know what? They kind of gave up in a sense on telling me what I can and can't do. I just stopped listening to them after a certain point. Not trying to make me sound arrogant or like I feel like I'm higher than them, but it's like it's a situation of like I want
At some
independence of
point,
myself.
parents have to let you go and have to let you discover your own things and make your own mistakes. And, but I
But yeah, I
really
mean,
recommend going to a show. And I mean, I'm talking about knowing what's yours and what's from another person in, also like in energy and emotions and stuff like that. But at a concert, I mean, the last show that we went to was in June, and there are a lot of people there who I've seen them before. I recognize some people. Some people I do know for a long time now as fellow knuckleheads, and we meet up and we're just a bunch of us were standing quite up front stage, and I had one of my best friends in front of me who was having half of an anxiety attack and just really struggling at that time because it was a lot of people and it was crowded, and besides me, there was one of our other knuckleheads, and he had been struggling with some issues as well and losing people. And the music was playing, and I don't even remember which song it was, but I had one guy next to me crying. I had my other friend in front of me crying, and in that moment everything was just possible. It was just, we were all feeling the same kind of energy, and we were safe there, and we could just, it's one of those almost magical experiences where you're listening to the music and it hits you on a level, and everything is just good, and every emotion you want to show you can show, and everything was just coming out, and it was okay because we were safe and we were loved and we were with family. And I really would love to hear from you, because I'm not sure if you're going, they're are they touring now, or are they starting the tour in August? But I
they're
mean, it would be
starting it.
great if you got to see them live, and I'd really would love to
Yeah.
hear from you after,
I
what your
mean, like,
experience is.
yeah,
And
but like by the time I was ever able to like to have the independence to want to go or be able to go, COVID hit like right around the time, and they
hmm
had rescheduled the show multiple times, and it just never happened. And I mean, I think we got like 2 weeks or something before it, and it was just like, no, can't do it, COVID. And I'm like, fuck, man. And then but it was a lot of like mixed feelings. But I think they start touring in America, I think either in like the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think.
yeah, I think I saw something on the 19th happening, and that kind of
Yeah.
registered with me because that's when the album is coming out, of course, Afterlife. But because I don't know if they're coming anywhere near you, or if you still want to go there, got tickets, or want to buy tickets or whatever. But
They
I
come they
mean,
come
just
near me, I
that
think in October.
experience. Okay. I
So
mean,
I
really,
recommend going.
I would wish for everyone who loves this music to be able to see them perform live, and to just be there and experience not only them live, but the entire community, all of those people there. And I, not just with Death Punch, of course, for Death Punch, for me, it has like the extra dimension, but for any artist you go to that you connect with on a certain level, it's an amazing experience to just stand there. And I mean, and vice versa. I mean, as an artist, how awesome is it that you're standing there on stage and there's like thousands of people in front of you singing your songs?
Right.
And I really wish everyone can have that experience, because it's healing as well.
Like I watch the film from the shows, and also just watching them, I feel like I'm there just from watching it, 'cause how interactive they are. But when I say like, oh, I watch it a lot, everyone's like, "Hey, man, it's different if you're there," and I'm like, "Okay." And when they come here, I plan to like, be there in the pit, and I hope I can be in the front-ish area just so I can, look up at Ivan and all them in the eyes and just look at them and be like, holy fucking
Hmm.
shit, I'm feeling this. I mean,
Goosebumps and chills and all. Yeah.
yes, the whole 10 yards of all the emotions. 'Cause I mean,
The entire Death Punch therapy.
right. I mean, for me, just from watching it, I get emotional sometimes just watching it because it's like
Mm,
just the personal connection they make with everybody with it. And it's like
yes.
well, everyone can perceive it differently and just it's so relatable in a sense that like it just makes my emotional. Like just listen to the music right now. Like just if I were to like pop my AirPods on like I have now and like listen on my phone, I probably wouldn't get emotional over the music. Honestly, I've listened to it to enough times. It would just ease my mood. But then it's like on another sense, it's like I know whenever I hear it when it's not at home or by myself. If I'm like talking to someone, listening with someone, I feel more of an emotional connection. So I feel like if I'm at
Mhm.
the show, I feel like I'm just like my emotions are just gonna pull out. I feel like that's gonna happen.
I
But
think honestly, and we've been to, I think, 4 or 5 shows live since 2017. I think there hasn't been a single show where I haven't cried.
mm,
And be it happy tears or be it just the emotion of some songs, I have it with like songs like Coming Down, Tragic Truth, and not like they always play those songs, but some of those songs, they just, oh, man, they hit, and they hit hard. And it's
right,
just, it's such an emotional roller coaster, but in a good way. Most of the time when they start, they come out pretty hard, and you're really into it, and then somewhere along the set there's going to be like maybe a little acoustic part, or just the slower songs, and I have it
right.
like times like these and a little bit off are not, if you ask around, most people would say that those are not typical Death Punch songs, but I love them.
Yeah,
Those are the type of songs that really connected with me. So whenever Ivan gets on stage, and I mean, last show he did a little bit off, just a short bit, man, that just, I can just feel all the emotion washing over me, and like I said, goosebumps and chills. and
right.
and of course I'm just the biggest fangirl when it comes to standing there and having, the moment where you have eye contact with one of the members, or stuff like that, or catching a pic. Or Chris Cale, actually, I mean, that man deserves a shout out. Chris Cale was standing on stage somewhere in the back between, I think it was, we had Fire from the Gods was opening, and then we had Megadeth, and I think in between those two sets, Chris was, throwing pics from backstage, and he's really
Oh,
good at it.
he has that
He's so,
range. Or
yeah, not normal. Seriously, he actually managed to get one right in my bra. So I mean, respect to that
beautiful.
man.
That is
Shit, yes, son.
beautiful. Honestly,
But it's also when you're on stage. I mean, if you're not that big of a fan that you're really following them, I mean, but if you just take a look at what kind of photos that they put out after show, they really make contact with the photographers, and they really go for it. But they do the same with the people that are in the audience.
they just feel it,
And it's
man.
just, to be honest, those moments when you're standing there and you know that they're looking at you, or in my case, when you get a shout out or whatever. I mean, I'm just like the biggest fangirl, like, yay! That is just, I wish everyone could experience that.
Right. I
Truly.
mean,
So, I mean, if you're into Death Punch and if you haven't been able to go see them, please do.
honestly, just listening to their music. I mean, in a way, at times I do listen to their music religiously whenever I'm having a bad time because they've always been able to just pull me out of a hole I've always been in. Like they always hold me up to an extent where look at I just look at them like in a real I don't like I want to make it weird, but as I said, sometimes I do listen to their music religiously. And I mean, I mean, obviously, like, I think these days I've been listening to more Slipknot and heavier stuff way more, like, in a religious sense, to be honest. I mean, I'm not trying to
Mhm.
make everything, like, religious, like, about religion, but I mean, I like, when I say that I religiously listen to someone, it's more of like, who I've been listening to on a consistent basis that has been
Mhm.
matching my mood and my vibe and just how I'm feeling. And, honestly, it makes sense that I'm religiously listening to heavier bands that heavier than Death Punch because that's how I've been feeling lately. I've been feeling in a very just like pumped up, destroy some shit type of mood. Obviously, Death Punch has songs like that, and oh my god, I love it. And it's just, I mean, I've already like I've already planned to go to that show and they come around to St. Louis. I already planned to be there. So if anyone that's watching this that's gonna fucking be there, let me know. We need to like arrange something where we're like in the front row and just like having our hands up, just like enjoying the whole
Awesome.
thing. I mean, I
Mhm.
already plan to bring the flag that's behind me. I already plan to bring
Mhm.
that with me. I want to hold it up with some people. Get some people with
Yeah.
me to just hold it up. Because I also want to get because I think I've reached out to like Charlie and stuff, and I think we might try to get my flag signed possibly when I go, since I've been dying to go to a show since
Definitely
like
go give it a try. If
2019,
you don't try
2020.
it, it'll never work.
Right. That's why I want to be in the front row and just be like, please sign my flag. I'm a fucking
Mhm.
child. Please. I feel like a child right now.
Just ask. Just ask. I mean, if you don't ask, it's always going to be a no. Just ask. Just try. I mean, we're
Honestly,
the
I'm gonna
kind of
try,
people
yeah.
who wait backstage after a show, because I'm like, well, it can only get better if someone do comes out or we get to talk to someone or so.
Right.
Yeah, that worked out for us a couple of times. And especially, I mean, last show we brought our Dutch flag, and um now of course we have the new logo, and we're working on cooperating with the same people that Helga and Joker have cooperated with in names of shop for the merch. So we're looking into
Right.
that, making flags with our own logo, stuff like that, which is not for profit, by the way. We can't make any profit of it. I mean, this is just some really out of control hobby for us.
Right.
Um, but I mean, if you can get the attention, and if you want to make things happen, I mean, just go for it.
I mean, like soon as I'm slowly trying to get a gathering for my podcast. I'm thinking about I want to get merch I want to make merch for this, but I don't know how to do it. Or I don't know like how to do it to make it look good per se. I don't know. But I honestly just like in some senses I don't know. I know like I talked to Helga about it and I know he said when he makes the merch, obviously you have to pay for it, but he says he makes
Yeah.
it as cheap as possible so that he's not losing money by producing it, but he's not
Hmm.
gaining anything out of it. I guess he said that if he does profit off it, it's such a small amount that it doesn't even like matter in a sense.
No,
That it's
and
just
I don't think, to be honest, and I'm just going on my personal instincts right now, but I don't think that if I look at Helga, Joker, and all the other people from the fan accounts, they're not in this to make money. We started this. I mean, if I speak for myself and Michael, we started this because of our love for the band and the music, and because we wanted to broadcast that, and we
right.
wanted to meet other people. And I mean, that's exactly what we've been doing. I mean, we're actually even looking into organizing the Knucklehead family meetup for 2023. Not even sure, because of course we have no idea whether or not the band is even going to be in Europe next festival season. But hopefully, we're looking into how we can organize getting as much of us together at one or maybe even more festivals, and like Tons of Rock. We've been talking about that.
Right.
The download festivals, Prague. We're just looking into, if it would be possible to meet up with as much knuckleheads as we can. And that again, I think, shows the strength of this family
Right.
that Ivan and Zoe and Chris and Charlie and Andy have, put out there for us. It's just, and also, the former members, of course, included. But I already said that, we haven't been with the band from the start. So for us, it's mostly been with Jeremy and Jason in the band as we experience them. But that's another part that I like. You see them grow as people, you see them grow and evolve in their music. And yeah, okay, the music changes, and some people are not too happy about it, and they think, like, it's not my kind of thing. I liked the first two albums, and that's just it for me. Fine. I just wish that people would stop being so toxic and just bullying and trolling another because you don't like it. You don't like it, fine. Shut up and go do something else you do like.
Right.
Um,
I mean, like
but as
another
far
like
as
one
the,
way to.
the meeting goes, sorry, no,
No,
go
you
ahead.
go. No, no, fine. Okay, whatever.
I was just gonna say,
But
as far as the meeting, is concerned, I hope you don't mind if I put it out there here in the podcast. I would just want to say, if you're from Europe, if you're into Five Finger Death Punch, and it's not just single if you're from Europe, but that's just, logistically the most logical. If you want to come from the United States or Canada and you can make it that way, that would be great too. But I mean, we can't know how much money everyone has to spend and how easy it's going to be to arrange it. But if people
right,
are interested, I mean, go check out any of the accounts, the Norwegian Knuckleheads, German Knuckleheads, Dutch Knuckleheads. We've got the Knucklehead Family Pride account. That's also going to be used as a channel for that. So, if you want to meet up with the rest of the family, get in touch. Go follow the fan accounts, and not just the one from the country you're in. I mean, go follow as much of them as you can. And of course, follow you, Liam, and your Full Circle podcast. I mean,
so
this is
blessed
number
of you to do
4,
that.
but I'm really eager to see where this is going to go. And I really hope that I'm going to be able to, in the future, see and hear you, doing this, but then with Ivan or Zoe or Chris, Charlie,
I mean
Andy,
that
or
that's
whoever.
my hope. That's my hope. I mean, I think I mean not trying to offend anybody or make anyone like feel like less determined to try to like get themselves on here. But I think after this episode, I've kind of made it like I've kind of like told some people about like Helga and I think I've told you already, but I think after this episode, I'm gonna start steering away from fan clubs because I mean I'm not I mean I know plenty of you out there want to do it and I don't want to be mean and say no. I just I want to try to steer it in a direction, like a different direction after this
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I want to promote different messages besides family every single time. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of what the common theme has been, and I was talking to Helga before this about that, and I was like, it gets repetitive, but
Mm-hmm.
as I said, like if anyone wants to like contribute or anything to this, like feel glad to do it. I would be so open to it. But also like as you were talking about the family like knucklehead family meetup, I plan to try to go next year to that whenever that may be. If I'm correct, I think they were talking for it to be around festival season next year, like in the summer. I think that's what
Yeah.
they were looking into, and I
Tons
was
of
like,
Rock is going to
honest,
be somewhere in June, I think. For
it's
the
usually in the end of
others,
June,
I'm not
early
sure.
July, I think.
Yeah.
But
And then
yeah,
we're
I
going to
already
keep our fingers crossed that the band is coming this way, so.
hopefully it would be
Yeah.
awesome if we all could just meet up, go to the Death Punch show, and just be in the front
Mm-hmm.
row and be like all the familiar faces and just like,
Yeah.
we love you. We want to worship Ivan. Just like start bowing to the
It's going
Godfather
to
that
feel like coming
gave us the
home.
happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, I know like Joker has. I mean, he's made it clear he wants me there next year. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yay, I feel so wanted. Not, I mean, I sound so sarcastic when I say that, but I'm like, I've never felt that wanted to be somewhere. And
Mhm.
when him and Helga, like when they approached me about that and they like put it out that they want me there, you better fucking show up, man. Like
Mhm.
it's a thing of like I feel not that I like feel forced or obligated to go, but I just feel like as family, as a friend, I feel like I want to go for the experience. I've also never left the
Mhm.
United States, so it would also be a very big roller coaster of experiences for me besides meeting my knucklehead family. I mean, besides
Mhm.
meeting you guys, I mean, it would be so much more to me. And they all know that. They know that I'm trying I want to I mean, we were talking about it the other day like we were trying to talk about my like knowledge of European geography. And
Mhm.
honestly, I thought I knew so much. I failed it so bad. I embarrassed myself so much about my knowledge. I didn't even know of half of the languages that they told me about. I was like,
Yeah, but I mean the other way around. If you
uh,
talk to Europeans about the United States, I
all
think you're
they
gonna
know
get
is
the
them.
same.
Honestly, I feel like when I've talked to them about it, they either like only know what's in the media or they only
Mhm.
know what people tell them. But in other ways, in my opinion, I feel like you can't judge a place. I can't. I feel like you can't judge a place till you be there,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But
Yeah, it does.
uh, I mean, that's why I'm kind of like I haven't really judged Europe in any way. I've never really said anything like negative about those places, and I mean, just from what I've heard, they feel like such like beautiful, calm places. That's just from what I've been hearing, and I can't speak for certain that that's what it's like, but
No,
just from
you
like
gotta
reading.
experience it for yourself.
Exactly. That's why I'm kind of like steering away from judgment, and I'm not really judging.
Mhm.
I'm not like a judge a book by its cover type of person. I like to just like read it before I see it. I mean, I like to
Mhm.
see it before I judge it and learn.
Oh,
But
that's a good one. You know, you can't judge a book by its cover. So.
right, and that's one of the things I really do want to like. That's one of the things I want to promote through this is that like I want to try to have like band members of bands that we all look up to on here. And some people may say like, "Oh, they're not normal people. They're celebrities, blah 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 blah." Make a bunch of stereotypes about it. But one of the things I want to show is that you don't want to judge book by its cover. I want you to see that these people are people just like you. They're an equal
Mhm.
to you. They experience the same things as you every single day.
Yep.
I mean, and honestly, like, yeah, they're a little busy because of what they do for a living, but
Mhm.
that's just in my mind, I'm just like, okay, that's just a part of your job. I'm not really gonna say that
Yeah, it
makes you
is.
special. I'm not gonna say it makes you special or makes you like, oh, so cool that you get to film a music video or some shit. But I feel like, hey, that's a part of your job. That's a part of the job
Mhm.
of putting yourself out there and entertaining people, which is your job. But also at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah.
that unification of you and your like fan base and family in that sense, like I feel like that's a strong thing too. Is that you not only have to promote yourself, but also stay in touch with the people that love you, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
So
Oh, but
that's
it
just one of
works both ways.
right. And I think it's beautiful. How I feel like it's beautiful how Death Punch portrays it. It's just like,
Absolutely.
here you go. Here's our love and support. Just grasp us and just
And
pull
it's
us
really
in. Give us
appreciated.
a big virtual hug with the music. It's
Mhm.
very appreciated by a lot of us. That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons I've stuck by them for so long and why I decided to start my podcast with the subject of Death Punch. And where to kick it
True.
off is
Yeah.
because it's a comfortable subject for me. It's a band that's been there for me since I began having struggles. And I can't
Mhm.
say that there has ever been a situation that Death Punch hasn't pulled me out of in a sense. Or at least helped me see what people are saying to me,
Mhm.
and it's inspiring. And
True.
I feel like, I mean, Joker kind of gave me this motto. We kind of randomly came up with it while we were talking on my podcast last week: motivate and inspire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot it at the end of that podcast. That's why I didn't say it as a final note because I forgot it. But it just came back in my head and I was listening to it on that premiere on Friday. I just listened to it and it just motivate and inspire. Ever since, it has not left my mind. And that
Mhm.
in my mind, that is now my motto. in my mind is I
Well,
want to motivate and inspire.
that's a good
That's
one.
and I feel like so many other people in the industry of music really I feel like that's some of their motto too is to motivate and inspire people.
Hmm.
And now I'm not going to speak for everybody and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to falsely assume, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people do what they do to motivate and inspire and just,
And even
help
if
people.
they don't, and it's just a byproduct, if even if you're just doing your own thing and expressing yourself in a creative way, and that happens to inspire and motivate other people. I mean, why not?
Seriously. I mean, that's one of the main things that I've like gotten like blowback on, like not in a negative sense, but in a positive sense about my podcast is like I watch the premieres, obviously, and I mean I enjoy doing it. It's so much fun to watch it sometimes, even though it's me. It's the first time like I've ever wanted to watch something that involves me.
Hmm.
But I don't really watch it in the sense that it's me. I watch it because I want to hear the conversation I had with the other person again, to be honest. I want to like take something away from my own shit. And it's I find it like beautiful how I watch the comment section, I watch who comments on it. It's the same people every time. And they're like I've heard people like seen people say, I can't wait for the next one, man. Oh, I couldn't make the premiere, but I'll make sure to watch it. And I'm always like, tell me what you think. Then all of them are just like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful
Hmm.
that it's here. And I feel like so many of the fans and fan base of like family of Death Punch, like so many of them are just like they love that I'm giving attention to the fan base and
Hmm.
family rather than directly to the band and just like I don't know, I want to do this to have fun. And if I go
Hmm.
somewhere famous with it, hopefully I can steer away
Yeah.
from the career I'm trying to do now and pursue better passions and just I want to make this a career where I can have the influence to motivate and inspire, like I
Hmm.
had said. That is, I'm going to say this. Thank you, Joker, for helping me come up with that. Or at least just, he just randomly said it. And I was like, there's something about it that rings a bell with it.
Hmm.
Motivate and inspire. I really like
Yeah,
that.
it's definitely a
But
good one.
no,
No,
it
and
really it
it
is.
really is. And I mean, sometimes people don't even realize that what they're doing is inspirational or is a
Right.
motivation to others.
Seriously. I mean,
But I mean, how cool would it be, if sometime from now we get to look back and you've gotten to that point where you're doing what you really want to do, and you've been talking to Ivan, Zoe,
made friends
Charlie,
with some of them,
Chris,
you know?
yeah, Andy, yeah, and I had them on here, and if you've been able to talk to them, and then looking back, I can go like, yeah, I was there too. But I mean, it would
It'd
be
be,
it would be so great if you get one of the guys on, or more,
I
of course.
really, I mean, that's one of me and Helga are trying to do. More like me, Helga, and Joker. One of our big things is Helga is like really taking it upon himself to put me out there. Yeah, he was one of my guests, but he's become a friend over the time I've
He
known him.
is
And
so supportive.
when I anxiously asked him to be on my podcast, I was really nervous to ask him because I was like, I wonder how he feels about this. I don't know. I don't want to bother him. But then I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna ask him. And then he responds,
Yeah.
and he seemed nervous going up to that moment. But then when we finally got in that Zoom call and we just looked at each other, I just relaxed instantly. I was so nervous before. And then I saw him and I talked to him for like 20, 30 minutes. I just instantly relaxed. I felt at home. I felt like I was talking to a friend. And he even made a few comments about it afterwards. I was like, after we stopped recording, was that like he said it blew him away and that it was something completely different than what he expected. And
Hmm.
that it was an experience that everyone needs to experience. And when he said that to me, I was just like, interesting. I was really just like amazed by it, like the fact he thought that. And I think Helga is a very educated person, I guess you could say. He's a very wise person.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a very good way to put it. And I really have no other way to describe him as just wise and the almighty. He's gonna he's gonna get the Thor hammer out and start bonking me every time I start calling him Godfather and
Really?
the Holy One. Thank you, Joker, for putting that in my head. Oh, yeah. It was just
Yeah, we do that. We fool around sometimes too. Sometimes we go live on Instagram and we start talking about stuff, and
hey, keep your eyes
it's
out in a few hours after I get back from my therapy session later in like an hour. I think I have my therapy session like 45 minutes, but don't worry, don't make that make me don't make you feel like you have to end this. But pretty soon we're gonna put this to a close. But after I'm back from that, me and Helga plan to go on live on Instagram and start talking
oh, cool.
bullshitting for a while. If you
If
wanna
I'm still
hop
up
on
for
in a
that, I'll
little
check
bit,
it out. Yeah, if
yeah,
I'm
just
still up for that, I'll check it out.
I think he wants to
Time
force
zoning thing.
Joker. Secretly, I think he wants to force Joker on there too. We don't know how his schedule's going to pan out to that, but the three of us really want to get on. At least a call, just the three of us. But
Hmm.
it's like I think Helga's really become a good dear friend of mine, and I really don't. I think he's really lifted me up. And the
He
motto
has been
of,
doing that for a lot of people.
I mean, seriously, I mean, I've never felt a friend connection as deep as him so quickly. No, I'm not going to say like there's been other people. I mean, like
Hmm.
I've made a friend with like the
Some
American
people, it's just so
Knucklehead fan page
natural.
person. Like I've made a but like I'm not like trying to talk shit, but like I mean, if you remember, like the American Knuckleheads fan page has been off and on, but I mean it's fine. I accept it. They're cool. I've enjoyed talking to them, and I've built a
Hmm.
personal connection with them, and me and them are still friends to this day, and they're a great person in my opinion. And I mean like anywhere from that to like Helga. Helga has such a big heart. He's such a
Hmm.
heartwarming, open person. I feel like I could just grab him and just give him the biggest hug in the
Big
world.
bear hug, yeah.
He's like a big teddy bear. And
Uh-huh.
then
I think I called him Papa Bear once, so maybe he'll try and kill me now. But no, but
I called him I
it's
called him
weird
father the other
how,
day, but yeah.
yeah, no, in a way he is. He does have that kind of vibe to him in a way. And I'm not talking about, old guy who knows better, but in a way, like he's kind of like a mentor kind of figure, and he's really supportive. And if you want to know something or you want to talk about something, he's just really open about it, and he tries to accommodate you. And I mean, I think those are qualities that I love seeing in people personally.
Right.
Not everyone has that. And I mean, um, if I look at not just Helga, but Joker and a lot of other people that I have met over the last few years through Death Punch, and it's like you said, some people you connect easier with than others,
Mhm.
on different kind of levels. But I mean, how awesome is it that, I mean, in the few podcasts that you've done so far, the friendships that have grown out of it.
Exactly.
I mean, I would even say, not that I wish that you don't have any people who are watching or listening to this, but I mean, even if they wouldn't, you got something great out of it.
Yeah. I mean, out of this whole podcast so far, like I made friends out of Joker. I made friends out of Helga. I mean, for this, I honestly could just say you're my friend too. I mean, you could be a part of the whole little tango gang, or whatever the fuck we want to say. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just like whenever I have to talk about something, like my knucklehead family have always been like there to just be like, "What's up, man? Talk to me." And I just I just love that they're so supportive, and just in the little experience I have, it's just like in the little experience I've had with like my podcast and just being and putting myself out there, it's um I don't know, it's just like my limited experience, like people always just like they're gravitating towards me and I like it. But also it's like I find it weird that the same people come back every time, but maybe that's just a part of the whole thing. I don't it's normal from what I've seen. But it's just like seeing people come back every single week and they're like, I want to see what this is about. And whenever I mention I want to start steering this in a different direction with other people, it's kind of like
Hmm.
it's beautiful because they're like curious like what's gonna be next. I've hooked
Yeah,
some people in this, and I wouldn't say I'm like the most clean person to talk to in this. Like I stutter a lot. I have a lot of issues talking to people, but I feel like this is helping me be open about myself and accepting of myself. And it's just I don't know,
that's
like
beautiful.
I don't even know how to put it anymore.
And don't think about it too much. I mean, if we start thinking about it too much, we start doubting ourselves, and don't go there. Just enjoy what you're doing. If you like what you're doing right now, and people are giving you compliments, just enjoy and take it for what it is. And you saying, I want to take the next step and go into a different direction. I mean, it's your podcast. Do whatever you want to do. And I mean, I think that all of us who have gotten so far with you in this, I mean, not just this episode, but I mean, we're going to be very excited to see what's happening next and where this is going to go. And we'll
Right.
just try and be supportive. I mean, it's such a small thing that you can do, just like, when you wake up in the morning and you just check on someone, just a simple question, how are you doing? Or just a simple, after watching or listening to this, like giving it a like, or saying, I liked what I heard or saw, or I can't wait to see the next one. It's just those little things, and it costs you nothing. Okay, a little bit of time, and it can mean so much to someone.
Seriously. I mean, like, I don't even know, but like, it's seeing how much support just grew around me so quickly. It was beautiful to see.
Hmm.
And my goal with all this, I want to motivate and inspire, like I said, but I want someone to be able to take away a lesson from it or just a topic and maybe even
Yeah.
like talk to other people about it if they so want to, or motivate them to go like pursue happiness, pursue something that helps them, and pursue
Hmm.
just making themselves better. And I mean, I've had people I've had like a few people just like even before my podcast, like I've had like one person I think walk up to me and say, I am inspired by you and your motivation of like being so open and accepting of people. I want to be like you when I'm one day. There's one person like literally said, I want to be like you when I grow up. And he's
Hmm.
like a couple years younger
That's
than me. And I'm
heartwarming.
like, I know. I said I heard it. I was like, I don't know how to feel. I was like, okay, that
It's kind of
happened.
surreal.
Right. It's just
Yeah, it's kind of
um,
I've had the same thing. I mean, I had the experience when we were at a Death Punch show, and that was the show where we went on stage for Burn Motherfucker. And I mean, not the same as Joker and Helga did. I mean, I
that
cannot
shit
compare it to
blew me
that.
away. Okay.
Oh man,
You
that
saw the
was
video on my last
awesome. That
episode.
was
I'm sorry,
epic.
but after having those two, I had to put it somewhere. I'm sorry. You have to literally look for the show itself and you have to watch like an hour before it gets to it. And I'm like, you know what? Just to save people the trouble, I'm just gonna put the clip right in front of you. I know the transition wasn't the best, but we had just been talking about it, and I'm like,
Who
people
cares?
have to fucking see it. People have to fucking see that.
Hmm.
And the
That was
energy
such an awesome
surrounding
moment.
that it seriously
Hmm.
is. I mean, watching that clip, just thinking about it right now. I mean, I couldn't get the smile off my face. I was so happy. And I mean, there was honestly when I watched it, when the beat just dropped going out of like when they were just start getting the crowd into it, the saying "burn motherfucker" repeatedly, and then when Ivan and Helga were just screaming together, yelling into the mic,
Hmm.
and then they just stop, and then Ivan just turns around and just jumps off his little platform when he hits the ground, and this the beat just drops. I felt it, and I was just
Hmm.
going crazy after that. It
And
was
did you see
awesome.
Helga head banging?
His hair is
I mean,
awesome. You just see his hair going everywhere, and it felt like
oh man,
he was living in the moment. And as you said
that was
earlier, like we all
legendary.
need to just live in the moment and enjoy
Hmm.
ourselves and just have the best moments of our life.
Yeah.
And honestly, that moment on stage for Joker and Helga, and just as a statement to the knucklehead community itself, show that that band loves their fans. And the fact that
Hmm.
one of the two most iconic people in the knucklehead community, in my opinion, don't quote me on that, but in my opinion, they're the most iconic people out of the whole fan base. Now, as I said, like don't quote me if they really are or not, but
I won't.
it's it's just beautiful to see them up there
Hmm.
and to see them. And they had even told me it was like a dream come true. They both said that reality really hasn't set in that actually happened.
Nope.
But to this moment, they're just like, I still can't
Yeah.
process the fact that happened. So right now I'm still
But
just
you're still happy
living.
for them.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, I see that and I'm like, I'm inspired. I want that to be me
Yeah.
one day, man. If at the show I'm going to, if Ivan brought me on stage and we could do some crazy burn motherfucker type shit, whew, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I mean, I'd probably have an anxiety attack in the process, but you know,
It
it's a
is. It
part of
is
the experience.
surreal. It is a surreal experience. We went on, I think it was in 2017 with a different show. And I had this thing where when we were waiting outside of the venue, I brought a few red lipsticks. And right before the venue opened, I got my hand red, and everyone who wanted it could get a red hand in his or her face.
Yes.
And at the time, we were standing pretty up front with the red hands, and they were just halfway the set. They were asking the people with the red hands on their faces to get on stage. So we got on stage, and we were like lined up all over the stage for Burn Motherfucker as well. And I mean, it's not like there was a microphone and we could do stuff. We were just standing there and we were just, head banging and just, you're looking,
Yes.
you're just going at, Ivan is in front of you singing. And then I look to my right and I see my husband standing right next to Jeremy Spencer at the time, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Beautiful.
It's surreal. Yeah,
You're
and I
just
mean,
living in the
as
moment and you're just
adults, I mean, I'm just this little girl again. But of course, almost every show, Ivan, he 9 out of 10 times our kids at the shows, and knowing
right.
that a lot of the times he gets the kids up on stage, multiple or just the one kid with a parent, to get up on stage and that kind of experience. And it may seem like such a simple gesture and such a simple thing to do, but that kind of stuff can really impact someone so strongly and really change someone's life. Just being able to say, like, I got on stage, I did that, I met that person, or I got to do this or that. And it may seem like a little trivial thing, but again, with, talking about the songs in general, how some lyrics or some songs just they alter people's lives for the good.
Right. It's just
And
I don't
I
know.
can never say enough thanks to everyone in the band and surrounding the band for that experience. I mean,
Honestly, like between me and you, I mean, like I would definitely say kudos, big thank you.
mhm,
We love that band.
absolutely.
Thank you to that. Thank you to Ivan and everybody for making the best of music imaginable, man. I mean, they hit so many people in like such a way that we like. Some of us literally, as I've said before, that some of us religiously listen to that music, and
Mhm,
they're just. I feel like Death Punch is such a perfect band for that kind of stuff. Where it's like there's something to fit your mood regardless, and the small things
yep.
they do mean the world to everybody. I mean, if as you said, like bringing a kid on stage for that kid, I mean, that could be the difference between that kid could have a rough life and they could just do something. And like they just probably potentially have the quote unquote status quo normal life or something. I don't know. But then that moment where Ivan or someone brings them on stage, it could change their perception, change their way
Mhm,
they feel. It could change the direction of that person's life. Even at such
absolutely.
a young age, it could drive them to just be the best person they can be, do
Mhm.
the best they can possibly do in life. And
I
I've
think
never
we can.
experienced it personally, but just I mean, just like the
Yeah.
community feeling of everything.
Mhm.
It's motivated me to want to do this. I mean,
Yeah.
I was talking to like Joker and Helga
Glad you
for a
did.
while about like the idea of this. And they're like, that'd be fucking awesome. And the fact I'm
Mhm.
shining light on the fan clubs, I mean, I feel like you guys deserve more credit than you guys get because you guys are the ones that
Thank you.
really keep the family and fan base together. Obviously, there's going to be people that follow the band, but I don't think that the community interaction would be as strong or as favored and loved as, how it is without you guys, without you and Helga and Joker and so many other people. They do
Mhm.
such beautiful things for the community, and I mean,
And we just love
it's
to do
lovely.
it, and I think I can speak for all of us. Helga, Joker, all the other ones. We are just, you know, doing this because we love the music, we love the band,
Right.
And we're just very grateful to be able to do this, and to be able to reach so many people, and to do, sometimes it feels like you're just doing this little itty bitty thing. And like you said, you can really change people's lives and you can really make an impact. And I mean, I hope to just keep on doing this, and keep on connecting, and being supportive, not only of the band, but also, of all the fans, the family. I think what we have here, it's just, it's beautiful. It's legendary, and I am so grateful to be a part of it.
Mhm.
And it's weird because I've had, what I was talking about when we got on stage for Burn Motherfucker, when we got back off stage and we tried to get back to our spot in the audience, um, actually people were coming up to me like, "Oh, you're Angie, you're from the Dutch Knuckleheads, you're from Dutch Punch." And I'm like, what the hell? The band is on stage. Why are people looking at me? And I think maybe the same, starting with your podcast, and people, you're growing into the point where people are coming to you and recognizing you, and valuing your opinion and asking for things. And
Right.
and it's a weird shift to be going through. But in the end, I mean, we're all people. We're just doing what we love, and we're just, putting our little bit in, and hoping that maybe one day we can be the person that makes a difference for that other person in a good way. And I
Right.
think
I mean,
that's all that
like,
we can strive for.
because I mean, one of the many things, I'm not trying to take credit for this, but like, if you didn't see, like, the other day, Anthony got his Norwegian Knucklehead shirt.
Mhm.
That was so beautiful. But I'm not going to say I want to take credit for that, but I don't think he probably would have gotten that shirt if I didn't ask Helg to get him one, because his birthday was coming up. And I was talking to
Mhm.
Anthony about my podcast, and just, you know, having a friend to friend moment where I'm just like, holy shit, this is cool. And then I was like, and the Norwegian Knucklehead guy, Helga, just said he'd be on my podcast. And then Anthony was like, that's fucking awesome. And then we're just talking about it. And he said his birthday was coming up, and he's like, he doesn't know if he was going to get anything. And I decided for his birthday, I was like, okay. I reached out to Helga, and I told him Anthony wanted a shirt. I got Anthony's information, shot it to Helga, and I was like, I told him, I was like, you could reach out to him, but if you want, I could do it too. And he was like,
Mhm.
okay. And then, story is the story. He has his Norwegian
Yeah.
Knucklehead shirt. And I mean, seeing him with it made me smile so much, man. I was just
Mhm.
like, my cheeks and my smile, my teeth were all just like all the way up. I was like, he looked
Happy
so
for him. Yeah.
happy. He was so happy. And then another thing I did was, for his birthday, I got him those Got Your Six pants, the ones that are on the
Mhm.
store. I got him
Yeah.
that, and then I got him his Knucklehead flag that he has. I bought both of those
Nice.
things for him. And I mean, he was so grateful for it. And I was like, don't worry. Don't worry about paying me back for it. Don't worry about it for anything. Just take it as a gift from a friend. That's what I
Mhm.
told him. I was like, just take it as a
I think,
gift from a friend.
yeah, beautiful. I think one of the most beautiful things you can do. I mean, of course, you have to be able to do it, but if you
Yeah,
can give, I've had that
right.
too. I've been over the last years. We've been on and off struggling financially, and um, sometimes it even got up to the point where we couldn't even afford tickets to go to Death Punch, um, because it was just wrong timing. But on the other hand, now that the new album is coming up, and on the Legions app, for the people who don't know it, you can look it up, Google Play, iTunes, whatever. I don't know on which platforms you can get it, but there is the
Yeah,
Legions app from Five Finger Death Punch. They're still working out the bugs because it's kind of new, but they do have contests from time to time. And actually, the times like these that we were talking about earlier, where it changed the lyrics, that was actually because they had the contest where you could, give a review on times like these. That was like, I think, a couple of days after the single came out, and I did it
yeah,
that way, and I actually won a prize with it. And I think it's going to be a CD. I think it's going to be Afterlife that's coming my way in a couple
cool.
of weeks. But then on the other hand, we already had some stuff pre-ordered, and we're like, I think for our Dutch Knuckleheads account, we're slowly going towards 1,000 followers. So when
Yay.
we get
That's
there,
awesome.
we're yeah, thanks. Um, I mean, that's a lot for me. I'm more of a quality over quantity kind of person. So
Right.
I like to have, I mean, I'm all about small numbers. I'm not the kind of person who just puts out a post every day just to get something out there. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's nothing for a while. It goes everywhere. But anyway, I think when we get to the 1,000 followers, we're going to do another giveaway. And I'm like, if we can, and I can give something at that point, I'd love to, because I
Right.
love to give. And it's not that I give because I expect to get something in return. It doesn't work like that. If you honestly, get to the point where you are comfortable enough, at least in that time, to give away something and see what that
Right.
does for another person, like when you're teaming up with Helga to get something for Anthony's birthday. I mean, that is so beautiful. And those are, again, the kind of little things that really, they seem small and insignificant, but they can mean the world to someone.
I mean,
So
I don't.
I
I
think
mean,
I think
obviously,
we should just ask everyone listening and watching this, pay it forward if you can. Just the little
that's what
things.
like a lot of people have taught me when I was like one of the main things I did take out of like from my mom and stuff is that she always said like be nice to everybody, pay it for like don't pay it forward per se, but like treat someone how you would want someone to treat you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm very kind and open to people because I'm like, I want you to treat me the same way back. I don't like
Mhm.
negativity. And if I do, if you face me with negativity and like powerfully negative things and calling me names or something, I'm just gonna play the same game right back with you, man. Like if you're just gonna talk shit, get in my face, I'm gonna my thing is if you're gonna treat me horribly, I'm gonna treat you the
Mhm.
same way right back because I'm like, okay, you made me feel this way. How do you feel now after
Yeah.
I just said this to you? Or if
Yeah, if someone
I
starts
expect
yelling, you
something,
yell back at them.
yeah, it's common sense. I mean, some people always say don't go down to the level, but I'm like, here's the thing. I mean, maybe they want that out of you, but also like maybe you can possibly in a way hit them in a way that they hit you, and maybe they'll understand and they'll stop. That's kind of how I view it. It's like a punch in the face right back, and it's kind of one of those things. It's like I expect you. I'm like I'm treating you very kindly. I mean, I expect the same thing back. I mean, that's all I.
Mhm.
And then when I bless someone with a gift like a flag to Anthony or something, like I don't expect anything back from him. All I expect back from him is that he just stays happy and possibly
Mhm.
one day will pay it forward to someone else. Pay my kindness forward to someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna pressure anyone to be like that, but just
No, not everyone can. But I mean, if only just a simple like giving someone a smile, greeting someone kindly. It can be the little things. When I'm walking on the street, and I mean, I live in a really small town, so I don't see that much people. But if I see someone walking, and there's mostly this little moment of connection when you look each other in the eyes, and a
right.
lot of people just, they look at you and they turn their head and they just keep walking and just say good day, say hello, and it doesn't mean that you have to start an entire conversation, but just say hi to someone. Or whenever I'm walking past the restaurant and I see people eating, I'll be the nut who goes, enjoy your dinner, and people
I
will
mean,
be looking like, what the hell just
you're like,
happened, because they don't expect it. But
what the
it
fuck
does
are you
get a
saying
smile
to
on
me?
their face.
You're like, okay, smiles, but okay.
That
And then,
was
and then
weird. Who was that?
I mean, I would probably be like, what the fuck? But then I'd also be like, okay, you too, you have a good day. I mean, I try
Yeah.
to push myself to say something back because I don't want to be like, stare at you with a smile. It's like, okay. But no, I mean,
Getting to
if
the
you want to
part where it
smile and
gets
tell me,
creepy.
yeah, I mean, if someone's going to say something to me and be like, oh, good day to you. Hope you enjoy your day. I'm gonna be like, you too, man. I've been trying to get better at that. Try to have like reflect their positivity back at them.
Mhm.
But yeah, not trying to cut us off, and I mean, I know we could probably talk for hours, but I do have to go here shortly, and I have some stuff I need to do. So I got to say thank you again for being here. I really appreciate your time for taking time out of your possibly busy day. I don't know exactly what you had going on today, but you know,
That's good. I'm really glad to be able to do this, and I hope I haven't scared people off at this time. And I'm really looking forward to what's coming next. So
me too. I mean, the future it's scary, but it's thrilling because you're like, what does it have in store for me? We'll
It's okay if
see.
it's a little scary. If that gets you out of your comfort zone, that's where you learn. I mean, but just don't let it scare you off.
Right.
Just
Well,
keep going.
do you have a message you'd like to relay to everybody? Like, I don't know. Do you have any messages for the world for people to remember?
Oh God, I'm not good at that. I just want to say, of course, if you're in a death punch, you probably are if you're listening to this. Just keep following the guys because there's a lot more coming. And I just want to wish everyone to just stay safe, be well, and keep in mind we all have our struggles and we all have our good and our bad days, and that's just how life is.
Right.
Just don't forget to enjoy it and live your life.
Just, put a smile on your face and just walk, enjoy yourself. Do something you enjoy, and,
Yep.
you know, the message I want
Dance
to
in the
take out
rain
of
if you want
this,
to.
right. I mean, but what message I want to take away from this, I'm hoping everyone got from this is that, like, it's okay to not be okay, and there's no such thing as normal. Everyone, be yourself, just,
Yep.
and if you're having problems, reach out to someone, or if not, hey, fuck it, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Helga, you can reach out to any of us, and that
Me
we are
too. Yeah,
talking to,
definitely.
and it's, reach out to any of us. Well, if no one wants to listen to you, we'll gladly listen to you. We want to make sure everyone is happy, everyone's enjoying themselves, and I hope everyone is just staying safe, as you said. But a message I want to
Yep.
just say out of this is just ask for help if you need it, and follow what you believe in, and don't take shit from anybody in the sense of telling you what you can and cannot do.
Trust your own
Uh,
voice.
Trust your own voice. I agree. But yeah, I just, as I said, thank you for
Thank
being
you
here.
too.
I appreciate you making some time for me, and my heart goes out to you, and
Thank you so
hopes that
much. I'm
we
really
all.
glad.
I hope that 2022 goes really good for the rest of the year for you, and don't be afraid to reach
Thank
out. You have
you.
a friend. You have a friend in me.
I
You know.
know. We'll find each other after
Yeah.
this.
Right. Hope to see
You
you at
stay
the
safe and
Knucklehead
be
meetup
well
next
too.
year. I hope to be there, and I hope to see you there. But
Let's
putting you on
go
the
for it,
spot on
Sons of
that.
Black. Yeah.
Right. But yeah.
That'll be great.
Thank you again for like the fifth time. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for spending some time out of your busy schedule, and motivate and inspire everybody. Just, be yourself.
Motivate and inspire.
Put your fist up and be like, I'm being myself. You can't tell me who I am. Just be yourself. That's the best thing I
Yep.
can really say for you. Yeah,
Stay true to yourself. Yeah, definitely.
right. But yeah, just what to say, be yourself. Anyway, thank you again for being here. This is Liam of the Full Circle Podcast signing off. Have a good day, everybody.